Welcome to NAP Online. NAP Online is a secure web-based accounting and bookkeeping system.
In this tutorial, we will learn to set up sales types, salespersons, sales areas, add and manage customers and branches. We will also learn to make sales quotation entry, sales order entry, make delivery, and sales order inquiry. Accounting window opens. Click on the Sales tab. There are various panels here. The Transactions panel is used for making transactions related to sales. To make a transaction, we have to use the options Sales Quotation Entry and Sales Order Entry. Enquiries and Reports panel is used for making reports and enquiries of the transactions. For this, we have to use the following options: Sales Quotation Inquiry and Sales Order Inquiry. Maintenance panel is used for setup of sales and customer details. To do the setup, we have to use the following options: sales types, salespersons, sales areas, add and manage customers, and customer branches. Let us now see the flow for a sales entry. This comprises of 3 steps: set up sales, set up customers, sales entry. In setup sales, we need to set the following options under the maintenance panel: sales types, salespersons, sales areas. So let us learn how to do so. The sales types option allows us to define the pricing level for the specific customers. Let us go to this option. Here, we need to fill in the details as prompted. Let's begin. We need to add a sales type first. So I will type wholesale as the name for the new sales type. In the calculation factor field, type the calculation factor to adjust base pricing of our choice. I will keep it as it is. Next, if tax has to be added, we can check the box named Tax Included. I will keep the box unchecked as I don't wish to include the tax for the sales type. Then click on Add New button. We can see the confirmation message which indicates that the details have been saved. Click on the Back option to return back to the front accounting interface. Now let us learn how to add a new salesperson. Go to the Salespersons option. Here, we are prompted to fill in all the necessary information pertaining to the salespersons. I have filled these details here for salesperson name, telephone number, fax number, and email ID. Please fill the details likewise. The provision field is used by a salesperson who gets a commission or provision on what they sell. So I will type 5% as the commission in the provision field. Next is break point. It is used for a salesperson who gets the provision only if the amount exceeds the break point. So in the break point field, I will type 5,000. This means whenever the salesperson sells above the break point, which is 5,000, he will get a commission of 5%. Provision to field is used if the salesperson sells below the break point. I will type 3, which means if the salesperson sells below 5,000, he will get a commission of 3%. Save these changes. Click on Add New button. We can see the confirmation message for the saved entry at the top. Scroll down. Click on the Back option to return back to the front accounting interface. Now we will learn how to create a new sales area. Based on the sales area, we will be able to create sales orders and make dispatches. Click on the Sales Areas option. Type the new area name which we want to create. I will type Retailer. Now save these changes by clicking Add New button. The confirmation message shows that we have successfully saved this information. We can also see the table with the updated entry. Click on the back option to return back to the front accounting interface. Before we quote a sales order, we have to set up each of the following: add and manage customers and customer branches. Customer is an individual or business that purchases goods and services produced by a business. We need to add customers to sell our products. So let us now learn how to create a new customer. Switch back to the front accounting interface. At the left bottom of maintenance panel, click on Add and Manage Customers. Click on the drop-down box. The listed options may vary. You may see the default customers of the company in your list. In my list, there are customers Abhi, Balaji and Hari. I have created these customers before recording this tutorial. Since a company has to deal with many customers, let us add a new customer. Fill in all the necessary details of the customer. I have filled these details here for my customer, as you can see. Please fill the details likewise. In the customer's currency drop-down box, I will select rupees. In the sales type / price list drop-down box, I will select the option wholesale. Recall that we have created this sales type earlier. Scroll down. Again, we are prompted to fill in the following details of the customer. I have filled these contact details for my customer. Make sure that you give the correct email ID here when you fill out these details. Scroll up. We can see the sales column on the right hand side. Fill out the discount, credit and other conditions applicable for that customer. I will keep the default settings as it is. Scroll down, then click on Add New Customer button to save these changes. The confirmation message shows we have saved the details for our new customer. We can also see another message which shows that the default branch is also added. First, we need to apply these changes for the new sales entry. Scroll down and click on the Update Customer button. The success message indicates that we have updated the customer. Again, scroll down to click on the back option to return back to the front accounting interface. Now let us see whether the default branch is added or not. Click on the customer branches option. We can see that a default branch has been added to the customer. By clicking on the edit icon, we can make changes in the given entry. Scroll down, click on the update button to save this change. The branch gets updated and the success message appears at the top. Scroll down to click on the back option to return back to the front accounting interface. Now all the required setup has been done and we are ready to make a sales quotation entry. Switch back to the front accounting interface. Click on the sales quotation entry. You can see the drop-down box with the customer name and other related information. This is because we had already updated the details in Add and Manage Customers. So let us make a sales quotation entry. In the item description drop-down menu, select item as cement. Recall that we have created the item code as 45 for cement in an earlier tutorial. In the quantity field, I will type 150 as the quantity. It is possible that you have a slightly different text here instead of price before tax. Depending on the variation, you may see some difference in the calculation also. So here, in the price before tax field, I will type the price as 1500. If you want to give discount to the customer, type the percentage in the discount field. I will give discount of 0.10% to my customer. Now, to save the entry, click on Add Item button. Here, you can see the amount total against the sales order is included with the tax of 5%. Note here that shipping charge field is to add charges against shipment to the customer. So in the shipping charge field, I will type 10,000. Click on Update button. We can see the subtotal and the amount total. The balance has been increased by 10,000 and the total amount is now 2,46,013.75. Scroll down. Save these changes. Click on the Place Quotation button. The success message shows that the quotation has been placed. Now we need to place an order against this quotation. So the next step is to make a sales order entry. Switch back to the front accounting interface. Click on the option Make Sales Order against this quotation. A window opens for sales order entry. The item description details can be seen here. Scroll down. Click on Place Order button. The confirmation message says that we have successfully saved this information. We can also see the various options. The next step is to make a delivery. Again, switch back to the front accounting interface. So click on the option Make Delivery against this order. A window named Deliver Items for a Sales Order opens. It shows us the details of the items to be delivered. Scroll down. Click on the Process Dispatch button. The confirmation message shows that we have successfully made the entry for the delivery. We can now see the options. This is the step-by-step procedure to make a sales entry. Now let us check the status of the sales entry which is made. Click on the Sales tab. Under Enquiries and Reports panel, we see Sales Order Inquiry option. This option is to make an inquiry against the sales order entry being made. Click on it. We can see the details of this entry in the table given here. Let us summarize. In this tutorial, we have learned to set up sales types, salespersons, sales areas, add and manage customers and branches. We have also learned to make sales quotation entry, sales order entry, make delivery and sales order inquiry. As an assignment, add a new customer for sales using Add and Manage Customer option. Create a new sales quotation entry. In this tutorial, we will learn to add suppliers, make a purchase order entry, goods receivable note, and to create suppliers invoice. To record this tutorial, I am using Ubuntu Linux OS version 14.04. Let us understand the meaning of purchase. Purchase refers to a product or service that has been bought by an individual or business. An activity of acquiring goods or services to accomplish the goals of an organization. Let us start by opening Front Accounting interface. Click on the Purchases tab. We can see various panels here. The Transactions panel is used for making transactions related to purchases. To make a transaction, we have to use the options Purchase Order Entry, Direct GRN, Supplier Invoices. Inquiries and Reports panel is used for making reports and inquiries of the transactions which we make. For this, we have to use the following option, Purchase Orders Inquiry. Maintenance panel is used to set the purchase details. To add the suppliers details, we need to use the option Suppliers. Let us see the procedure for purchases. The steps to be followed for a purchase entry are add suppliers, make purchase order entry, receivable note from a supplier, supplier's invoice. But first, let us understand the meaning of supplier. Supplier is a person or business that supplies goods or services. we need to set the suppliers, to make a purchase order entry and to manage suppliers data. Switch back to the front accounting interface. Click on the suppliers option. Here we are prompted to fill in all the necessary information pertaining to the supplier. I have filled the required details here. Please fill the details likewise. Scroll down. To save these changes, click on Add New Supplier Details button. We can see the confirmation message for the saved entry at the top. We need to apply these changes for the new purchase order entry. Scroll down and click on the Update Supplier button. The success message shows that we have updated the customer. Scroll down and click on the Back option to return back to the front accounting interface. Let us make a purchase order entry. It is used to register all purchase orders in the system. To do so, click on the Purchase Order Entry option. We can see the details with the supplier name and other related information. This is because we had already updated the details in suppliers earlier. It is mandatory to give suppliers reference, so I will type the suppliers reference as F001. In the item description drop-down box, select item as cement. Recall that we have created the item code as 45 for cement in the items and inventory tutorial. I will make use of the same item cement for purchase order entry also. In the quantity field, I will type 150 as the quantity. By default, the required delivery date will always be the next date after the order date. In my case, it is August 5th of 2016. Now, here in the price before tax field, I will type the price as 1500. To save the entry, click on the Add Item button. We can see the amount total is inclusive of the tax, which comes to 2,36,250. Click on the Place Order button to save these changes. The success message shows that the purchase order has been placed. Also, we can see the following options. Now, we need to receive the items for the purchase order. Click on the option Received Items on this purchase order. We can see the details of the received items for our purchase order. Click on the Process Receive Items button. The pop-up message tells that the purchase order items has been processed. Below that, we can see some more options. After this, we need to receive a purchase invoice. So, click on the Entry Purchase Invoice for this receival. Here, we can see the details to enter supplier invoice. Click on the Amount field besides Quick Entry. I will type 500 here. Click on the Go button. We can see the details for the invoice with the expenses. Click on the Enter Invoice button. We can see an error message appears saying you must enter a supplier's invoice reference. We need to enter the supplier's reference. I will type as F001. Click on the Enter Invoice button. The message above indicates that we have successfully processed the supplier invoice. Below that, we can see some more options. Next, we need to pay the supplier for the invoice being made. Click on the Entry Supplier Payment for this invoice. We can see the supplier invoice details. We need to pay the supplier. Also, there has to be some bank balance to pay the supplier. So, in the bank amount field, I will type the balance as 1000. Click on the Enter Payment button. The confirmation message shows that we have successfully made the payment. Also, we can see some more options. Let us summarize. In this tutorial, we have learned to add suppliers, purchase order entry, goods receivable note, and supplier's invoice. As an assignment, add a new supplier for purchases using suppliers option. Make a new purchase order entry.
In this tutorial, we will learn to add the following units of measure, items, item category, and sales pricing. Items are the things which we can buy or sell in the business. We have to keep a record that lists key information about an inventory item. Inventory is a complete listing of stock in hand, work in progress, raw materials, and finished goods in hand. Click on the Items and Inventory tab. Maintenance panel is used to set up items and inventory details. To do the setup, we have to make use of the following options: units of measure, items, and item categories. Let us see how to set units of measure. Units of measure option has to be specified for each item. In the maintenance panel, click on Units of Measure link. By default, you will see each and R as units of measure. Let us see how to add a new units of measure for kilograms. Type the details for the unit kilograms as shown here. In the decimal places drop-down box, select 0. Click on the Add New button at the bottom of the window to add this unit. The pop-up message shows that we have successfully added a new unit. We can also see the table with the updated entry. Likewise, you have to add the required units of measure for your company's items. Click on Back link at the bottom of the window to go back to the front accounting interface. Now, let us set the item categories to which the item belongs. Item categories helps us to group the items we buy and sell. Click on Item Categories link. We can see some default item categories here: charges, components, services, and systems. We need to create our own item category which defines item tax type, item type, and units of measure. Say for example our company deals with the finished goods, that is laptops. So we will add a new item category named finished goods. Fill the details as shown here. Category name finished goods, item tax type regular, item type purchased, units of measure each. Keep all the remaining fields with default values. Click on the Add New button at the bottom of the window to save the entry. We can see that newly added details are updated in the About table. Click on Back link at the bottom of the window to go back to the front accounting interface. Next, let us create a new item for this item category. In Maintenance panel, click on the Items link. Here, we are prompted to fill in all the necessary information for the item. Fill the details as shown here. Make sure that you give a unique code for each item you fill. This is mandatory. Category is the item category to which the item belongs. We have selected finished goods. Item type is to know whether the item is used for manufacturing purpose, purchased from a supplier, or for a service. Scroll down and then click on the Insert New Item button at the bottom of the window. The pop-up message shows that we have successfully added a new item. Click on the drop-down box at the top of the window. we can see that new item has been added. As an assignment, add 2 new items under item category finished goods. Add 2 new items under item category components. Refer to the assignment link of this tutorial for details. After completing the assignment, click on the drop-down box at the top of the window. Now, you should see 2 items under components and 3 items under finished goods. Click on back link at the bottom of the window to go back to the front accounting interface. Pricing and costs panel is used for selecting the pricing level of the items or inventory. This option is used to assign sales prices to the individual sales item. Click on the sales pricing link. Click on the item drop-down box. Select the item Dell laptop for which we want to assign the sales price. Now, click on the currency drop-down box. Select the currency as Indian rupees. Click on the sales type drop-down box. There are 2 options, retail and wholesale. Here, select the option retail. Next, click on the price field. Type the price against the item as 53,000 per each. Then, click on Add New button at the bottom of the window. The pop-up message shows that we have successfully added a sales price for the item Dell laptop. We can also see updated values in the table here. Click on back link at the bottom of the window to go back to the front accounting interface. This brings us to the end of this tutorial. Let us summarize. In this tutorial, we have learned how to create units of measure, items, item category, and sales pricing. As an assignment, add the sales price for the items shown below. Keep the sales type as retail. In this tutorial, we will learn to create general ledger classes, general ledger groups, and general ledger accounts. Click on Banking and General Ledger tab. In the Maintenance panel, we can see the options GL accounts, GL account groups, and GL account classes. Before we start with any transaction, we need to set the charts of accounts. The charts of accounts is defined by type, class, group, and account. All transactions are charged to an account, group, and classes. These are used to group transactions for reporting purposes. Account belongs to a group and group belongs to a class. It will be reflected in the balance sheet and profit and loss account statement as per the account group. The first step is to set the general ledger account classes. Click on GL account classes link in the maintenance panel. Here, by default, the class name and class type are defined as assets, liabilities, income, and expense. Also, we can see that the class ID is set for each class type. We need to set this class before setting the account group. Now, we will see how to add a new class. In the class ID field, type 5. The class ID should be a unique value. In the class name field, type equity. Click on the class type drop-down box. We can see the default list assets, liabilities, equity, income, cost of goods sold, and expense. This class type to present in the balance sheet. Select the class type as equity. Click on Add New button at the bottom of the window. A message is displayed. New account class has been added. Here we can see that the new class equity has been added to the third row. This is because in the default class type, equity is on the third hierarchy level. So whenever a new class is added, it takes the default place of that class type. Now let us see how to add GL groups. Go to the Banking and General Ledger tab. Click on the GL account groups link in the maintenance panel. We can see the default group name which shows GL account groups under the class. You can also see the group ID is set according to the class. In the ID field, type the new group ID as 12. In the name field, I will type fixed assets as the group name. The group name fixed assets does not belong to any subgroup that is already available. Hence, in the subgroup field, keep the field as none. Now, click on the class drop-down box. According to the charts of accounts, fixed assets come under the class of assets. So select class as assets. To save these changes, click on Add New button at the bottom of the window. We can see an error message that says this account group ID is already in use. So a unique class ID has to be added to each group name. Let's change the group ID to 13. Click on the Add New button at the bottom of the window. This time, we can see a message that says New account type has been added. The new group name is added randomly within the class Assets. Likewise, we can add our own group name. Now, let us see how to add GL accounts. Click on the Banking and General Ledger tab. Then click on GL Accounts link in the Maintenance panel. Here, also we need to type a unique code. It is a mandatory field. In the account code field, I will type 1100 as the code. You can give any code of your choice if you wish to. Click on the account name field. Type the account name as Land and Building. You can give any name of your choice. In the account group drop-down box, select the account group as Fixed Assets. The account name Land and Building has to come under the group Fixed Assets as per the charts of accounts. Next, click on the Account Status drop-down menu. Select the status as Active. Then click on Add Account button at the bottom of the window. We can see the message New account has been added. Now, click on the New Account drop-down box at the top. We can see the newly added account here. Each organization will have their own sets of account codes as shown here. Likewise, by following the above steps, you can create your own GL accounts. This brings us to the end of this tutorial. Let us summarize. In this tutorial, we have learned to create General Ledger classes, General Ledger groups, and General Ledger accounts. As an assignment, create new GL accounts, cash and capital with the below details. Save the changes. Now, we have set the charts of accounts for our company with new GL accounts.
How to run reports using NAP Online. Running a report in NAP Online is very easy and can be done in a few simple steps. Most of the reports you will need can be accessed from the function Export Financial Reports from the Banking and General Ledger screen. You will see a variety of reports to run for your region. In the General Ledger Report class, two of the most useful reports your region will want to export and print out are the Profit and Loss Statement and the NAP Account Code Transaction Detail. These reports complement each other because the Profit and Loss Statement provides a summary of your financial position for a specified date range. The NAP Account Code Transaction Detail report shows all deposits, payments, and other transactions associated with a specific NAP account code for a date range. These reports were both run for the last fiscal year, which is why the amounts match for each account code. Let's see how I ran these reports. The first report I will show you is the Profit and Loss Statement. Once you select the report, you will see a set of options appear on the right-hand side. Select the start and end date for the period you wish to view. In this example, I will select July, which is the first month of the fiscal year, through August. Next, select how you want to compare the data. From the Compare To drop-down, there are several options to choose from, including year-to-date, budget, and prior year. I'm going to select budget to make sure I am on track for the current year. I can also select by dimension to provide me with data for that specific dimension. For example, I could select my fall or spring season. I am not going to select a dimension in this example. Then select Display. This report displays the actual data for the period of July through August against my annual budget. The reason I can see my annual budget is because when I entered the budget data, I entered it in July, and July is included in my date range. If I wanted to see monthly reports compared to my budget, I would have had to enter the budget data in monthly. If I wanted to find out what was coded to the account 5130 equipment, I would run the NAP account code transaction detail. I select the NAP account code transaction detail report, and again, options appear on the right. I will select the date range that I selected for my profit and loss statement, which was the period of July through August, and then select only the account code 5130 equipment. Then select Display. This report shows me all of my transactions coded to the account code for that date range. Notice that it also shows me the type of transaction, the reference number, transaction number, the date the transaction occurred, the dimensions used, who the payment was issued to, and the amount. These reports were ran for the same date range, which is why the amounts listed for equipment on the profit and loss statement matches the amount on the transaction detail report. If I had selected different dates for each report, these two would not match. There are several other reports found in the General Ledger class. However, the two I just reviewed are the most commonly used. For a quick description of these other reports, select the wiki at the top of the screen. Now let's go to the Banking Report class. The first report lists all payments and deposits for the selected bank account and date range. Whenever I select a report, options appear on the right. In this example, I want to see all of my transactions for this fiscal year. I suggest exporting this report to Excel. To do this, I will scroll down and select from the Destination drop-down and choose Excel. Then select Display. The reason it is helpful to export to Excel is so that you can sort by the various column headings such as the type, check number, amount, or any other field you need to sort by. The next report is the Bank Reconciliation Detail Report. When I select this report, the options available are each of my bank accounts and reconciliation dates associated with each account. Here is an example of my August 30th Bank Reconciliation Report, which displays all cleared deposits and payments found on my August 2015 bank statement. The ending reconciliation balance found here matches my ending bank statement balance. This report also includes uncleared transactions that have not cleared my bank account. The running balance listed here is my current cash balance when all transactions clear. For more information on running reports, please contact your NAP representative.